viewers, welcome to another game of the Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing a game between Shadye in the bottom left corner as the Terran and Avokado as the Terran in the top right. So I never heard of Avokado, but at least he is playing against Shadye, who I do know. So we are going to have to see if they actually make it a good game. So this is from, I think a ladder match, but I'm not actually sure. It may be part of a tournament. I'm going to post it as just a ladder match. It's all good. I mean, it doesn't really matter where it's from unless it's a finals or a semifinals or something like that. And it's a best of something series. But yeah, for now, we're just going to assume that it is not. So both players starting off with that supply depot on the ramp, even though this is Terran versus Terran, and there's not a lot of action normally in the beginning, but yeah, walling that off costs you virtually nothing. It costs you an SCV that runs from here to there instead of building straight here and immediately being able to get back to mining. But yeah, they are going to just wall that off, make sure that well, the enemy Reapers cannot really well, get in, I wanted to say, but yeah, there's still plenty of opportunity to get in. But yeah, the enemy Marines at least can't get in, and well, the scout will also be blocked, of course. But yeah, if you scout around with Reapers, you can still jump into the base and try to do some damage. But yeah, it's such a long way from where you jump up to where the workers are that it's virtually impossible to do, and that is why I do not suspect there will be any Reaper play. Anyway, there are no Vespene geysers taken here. Here, there is the first refinery built. So we are going to see a factory after this, I believe, and nothing more, so nothing special going on. And look at the difference, by the way. This guy can just freely build his add-on on his barracks, whereas this guy has to move his barracks if he wants to place an add-on. And this is a big difference in how you play Terran. They should really make a fix on that. This was one of the problems with StarCraft Brood War already, StarCraft the original already, where the starting location actually matters a lot for how people can play. So if you could choose where you want to buy your or build your expansion, whether you want that over here, over here, over here, or over here, that would make a big difference. So it is a very small change, and we do have a Reaper coming out over here. The Reaper is just going to try to take care of that SCV. He does manage to get it while we had a little bit of lag. So the first factory is coming out, so the one Reaper is going to scout around a little bit. Reapers are relatively cheap. He did get the one kill, so he's already worth it. But yeah, they're a little bit more expensive. As you can see, 50-50, a little bit more expensive than the Marines. And oh, he's going to die straight off. So yeah, not entirely worth it, but I guess he did see that there were 4 Marines out. And yeah, that's worth something as well. It kind of gives him an insight into what his opponent is building. Although it is just the one factory that he saw, and he didn't see these other 2 barracks coming up. Sorry, the one barracks that he saw. He didn't see the other barracks coming up. I doubt that he saw the command center, but he might have. We will have to see that. No, he has no vision at all over what is happening in that base. His opponent, by the way, has no vision over what's happening in his base. So yeah, it's kind of equal in that regard. But yeah, we do have 5 Marines now coming into this base. There is defense up, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. And a starport actually building, that is good. At least he's getting something out to get rid of this well, this kind of deficit that he's in, because the opponent already building that well, that early economic lead. And yeah, the Hellions got chased off by those Marines. The supply depot will go down, but look at the damage. Not enough reaction there. Little bit late on the reaction there by Shadye, and he lost a lot of health on his Marines. And because of that, he's not going to succeed in doing anything else. He did get the two Hellions that were out, but the next 2 Hellions easily kill his Marines. And yeah, his supply depot stays alive. So his supply depot, of course, yeah, should stay alive because it's kind of an important part of his defense here. And look at the amount of Marines that are here. Once again, just like in one of the previous games, we see a lot of Marines on one side, whereas the tech is on the other side. Last time, I don't remember who it was, but last time it didn't work out for the guy who built the tech. But in this case, I think there's no more early harassment coming up. There is this little army that is coming up, and it is going to run into these Hellions, and these Hellions should be able to get out of there and wait for their reinforcements. If this guy has, no, he doesn't have his cloak up. Yeah, if he has cloak up, obviously he's going to do very well, but oh, he gets away with 2 HP. Holy crap. 2 HP left, and yeah, the damage was done on these Marines. Quite a few of them are low health, but only 2 or 3 of them died. So that was definitely good for our red player here. He is currently ahead, I have to say. Yeah, well, he's a little bit ahead. Resources lost quite a bit more for the blue player. Sorry, the red player. No, the blue player. Yeah, he lost quite a bit more, even though the units lost are kind of equal. Well, are exactly equal. Yeah, it's all about the quality of the units, of course. But yeah, the thing is that here it wasn't really that much of a real difference between those two armies, what they lost. It's just that this guy just doesn't really have any tech units out, but he did see that his opponent does have quite a bit of tech units out. He's going to compensate for that by building another command center and building his own starport, factory, thing, everything that he can find basically. Siege tank underway. We should have siege mode researching, but it's not yet. It's already researched? Okay. It's already researched apparently. Yeah, it's already up. Okay. So the research already done. That is quite quickly. We have 2 refiners coming up over here. Those 2, of course, have been built. That should be the same over here. All of them have been built. But yeah, our red player here is trying to keep ahead in that economy because, well, he is building his next command center, or his next orbital command, I should say. And we are going to harass here with a Banshee. Banshee is not really that effective in the later stage of the game. Yeah, he knows there are Banshees out, so the missile turret is there. Second missile turret over here. And yeah, he doesn't really have any army in his base though. And this can actually cost him quite a bit because this tank is going to die. Switch targets to the tank. Yeah, he was a little bit too late. He lost about half the tank there, but that is not good enough. The Marines are set to move. Yeah, that was not good. Lost 2 Marines for no reason at all. This Banshee is out of energy, it seems. And look, the Stimpak's doing quite a bit of damage there. We have the Widow Mines. Oh, why didn't you just keep them buried? Well, they're still going to shoot. They're still going to easily take out this army. Yeah, the one guy that is still, there was buried, is actually still buried. And yeah, the auto turret here, there is apparently, oh, here it is, a Raven out. We don't see a lot of Ravens. Ravens are, of course, really good at, well, taking care of Widow Mines, because they can see them. Yeah, Widow Mines are only a problem because you can't see them. The range on them is pretty small. We can't see the actual range here. But yeah, it's a relatively small range, and that small range makes that they're pretty easy to take out if you can see them. And of course, a Raven will do very nicely in that. Yeah, here you can see the range. I don't know why I didn't see it earlier. Probably because of the texture that is here. It's a light texture, so it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, the range is not great. It's just that they do great splash damage, and that is, of course, exactly what you would want. So we are going in here with quite a bit of army. 3 Vikings with it. The Vikings are there to take care of the air units, of course, especially this Raven. And of course the Banshee as well. But the Banshee, yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a problem anyway. The Banshee does go down pretty easily. And look at the damage from those siege tanks, man. So much damage, so much damage. And yeah, this siege tank is going to go down pretty easily as well. We do have Vikings trying to pick off all of those tanks. They do manage to pick off one, so there's that. The Widow Mine not really coming into play here. Did not get a shot off on those Vikings, otherwise would have gotten a kill. But yeah, the red player kind of losing out there. Not sure who's ahead now. Oh, wow, we really switched sides now. Blue player putting up a good defense and therefore switching with, well, switching to the lead basically. And yeah, taking the lead over from his opponent. And he is going to now build those missile turrets. But keep in mind, the income is quite different. The red player has way more income. He has an extra base, which means extra mules, as well as, of course, the extra income that you would normally get from having just an extra base mining, which is kind of obvious, I would say. But yeah, just an insane amount of extra income. So the resources lost, not as much of a problem for him because he does have that income going. And he, well, we should really have a stat that actually states, and I don't think that's there, that actually states how much income they have collected. So minerals. Is this the total amount? I think this is the total amount. No, no, it can't be. It has to be way higher. Plus, it fluctuates. So no, it's actually the, well, the amount that they currently get in or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, we are going to kill this crap here. Wow, that was actually very effective for our blue player. He does lose one of his banshees, well, straight off, well, in the end there. And going to lose, wow. That Widow Mine just saying, oh, has something to shoot at, right. No, there's no anti-air in this army, so yeah, the medevac's not really safe there. This SCV should really just build a missile turret. Really nothing else for him to do. Yeah, since there's no other defense, the missile turret should just be built straight up with the army. Yeah, just StarCraft Brood War style, man. Just where you siege up, you build some turrets, and then you creep forward and you build some more turrets. That is the way it was supposed to be, and that is the way you prevent these Vikings from coming in and destroying your air fleet. But currently there is no air fleet, so the Vikings kind of useless. And there is a Thor out now. Thor is going to be here and be shooting at them air units. So lots of air units here. There are 9 air units flying around versus no air units on the opposing side. There are also no Marines on this side, so no anti-air at all. And yeah, we will see if that actually comes into play. The Thors, 2 of them now, are going to just shoot at this, and yeah, the tank tried to make it work, but yeah, he's not actually going to manage to do it. 2 tanks only in this army. That is that's not a lot. So dropping on tanks here could be good, but with the Thors here, it is a dangerous thing to do. On the other hand, you may lose like a medevac and some Marines, but you could actually take out the whole line of tanks. But yeah, just preventing that from ever being an option by just creeping forward, sieging some tanks a little bit further up, and just taking some damage on his Thors, sure, but he will repair that with his SCVs. SCVs, of course, really useful in that front line. He is not going to repair them though. Yeah, they're really useful in those front lines because they can actually repair your units where they stand, and that allows you to kind of up the production without having to build more factories and such, because just repairing your tanks like he's doing now makes that you go from a 0 health tank to a full health tank without having to spend time in your factory. And of course, the time that is spent in your factory is all, well, kind of useless time. In the meantime, if you repair your units, they are on the field. They are right there where you want them to be, and you don't have to wait for them to be useful because they're already useful. Of course, there is the matter of yeah, if you build another tank, so if you repair your tank or you build another tank, assuming that it's at like no HP at all, it costs the same thing. It's just that you have to get an SCV off of the work line, and basically you don't get income for that. And you don't get the double firepower. But look at that, so many tanks, but so many air units to defeat those tanks. And he is just going to, well, wipe the floor with the with the tanks. But yeah, only the medevacs get out, but the medevacs are very, very useful at healing this up. Look at that, stimming up, and just those marauders are going to do so much damage to these, yeah, all of these tech units, because even though they may be only barracks units, they still do a ton of damage because they take less damage from the tanks. And all in all, they're going to be way more cost efficient against these tanks than the tanks against them. And all in all, this is going to be a very, just a march into this blue base. He does, however, have new tanks out. He has a Thor out, but the Thor is not going to be able to prevent one more tank from going down. 4 more tanks coming up, and even though he does have some tanks of his own, he does have to siege quite far out of the range. And yeah, the Thor here is going to go down unless it's really lucky. But no, it is going to go down without really doing anything to those tanks. Those tanks are really good at killing Thors, of course. And yeah, such a good choice to go for the Marauders. The Marauders are really strong against, of course, the armored units. And tanks are armored, Thors are armored. And all those units that really matter, those are all armored. And yeah, because he has, well, all kinds of uh, armored units as well, because, well, the Marauders are also armored. They take less damage from the tanks, splash damage, but they do take more damage from direct hits. So yeah, on the other hand, Marines will just straight up die to the splash, so there's that. But look at that, just marching straight in. It's like this guy doesn't have armor or something. He doesn't have armor on his... You know, he doesn't have armor at all. Oh, that is a big difference. I was wondering why his tanks died so quickly, because obviously Marauders are good. They're not that good. And he's going against 3-2 or 2-3 upgrades. Yeah, that is quite painful. So he does have the so the blue player here does have the necessary damage, but he doesn't have the, well, staying capacity, and yeah, just going to die instantly. Oh my god. Yep, in the end, the Marines and Marauders with some medevac backup was just too strong. And look at that resupply line, just streaming his units straight into the enemy base, because he knows that he won at this point. Well, a little bit previous actually. The moment he won this big battle over here somewhere, and he could just march up to the tanks, and the 4 tanks came out and the Thor came out. At that point, he already won. But yeah, it was really impossible for this blue player to do anything more than just mine from this base. He couldn't really expand anymore. He had a base over here, sure, but he couldn't really dedicate resources to that because he was at full production. You can see it here, how desperately he wanted those units, but he couldn't get it to work because, well, he didn't have enough production going around to actually produce what he needed to be produced. And finally starting to build Vikings, a little bit too late though, obviously. The Vikings could have taken out those medevacs way early on. The medevacs, of course, as I said, survived every fight, especially when they lost a fight over here. There was a huge army over here with a huge army of tanks. He took out all the tanks, lost his entire group of Marines and Marauders, but then his medevacs just flew out and backed up the next group that was coming in, and that was such a big advantage. So yeah, it was totally predictable from the way he played. He just played the economical game early on and really used very efficient units to deal with those tanks, wiped out the entire tank line without losing too much, and eventually just made it work by just keeping the pressure up. Wow, very good game. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.